remember they're changing my voice and they're fuming and poisoning me to reduce my anger and my body shape. It really doesn't help them at all. They're a bunch of, white supremacists, Jewish supremacists, LGBT supremacists, heading into a pitiful kind of scientific geek, nerd, dweeb, you know, foolish, kind of class clown future, kind of nerd humor future. And it's not going to help them to reduce my image. It just harms them and their families beyond words, where it matters most. They're inside of their cup and dish, so to speak. So now 1 Samuel 19 is titled Saul Tries to Kill David. Saul told his son Jonathan and all the attendants to kill David. But Jonathan had taken a great liking to David and warned him, "My father Saul is looking for a chance to kill you. Be on your guard tomorrow morning. Go into hiding and stay there. I will go out and stand with my father in the field where you are. I'll speak to him about you and will tell you what I find out." Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul, his father, and said to him, "Let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you, and what he has done has benefited you greatly. He took his life in his hands when he killed the Philistine. The Lord won a great victory for all Israel, and you saw it and were glad. Why then would you do wrong to an innocent man like David by killing him for no reason?" Saul listened to Jonathan and took this oath: "As surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death." So Jonathan called David and told him the whole conversation. He brought him to Saul, and David was with Saul as before. Once more war broke out, and David went out and fought the Philistines. He struck them with such force that they fled before. No cheating, mind you. But an evil or harmful spirit from the Lord came on Saul as he was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand while David was playing the lyre. Okay, so again, I've never fled from anybody in my life in a way that reflects cowardice. Okay, what they're talking about here is them fleeing from him in a way that reflects fear in the spirit of the Lord in them. Okay, other people, white Jews, LGBT, blacks, Hispanics, Islanders, you name it, everyone on the planet, they feared my challenge. My challenge is simple. If you cannot beat me at sparring and no one else can, then you must rise to the occasion, prove your man or woman to God by obeying God through me. When they didn't do that, they fled from the Spirit of God, because my challenge was so forceful in the sense that it was spiritually intense. Okay, so they fled from the intense spiritual force of my challenge, tail tucked, refusing to be a true man, and if they're female, a true woman. Okay. But an evil or harmful spirit from the Lord came on Saul as he was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand. While David was playing the lyre, Saul tried to pin him to the wall with his spear, but David eluded him as Saul drove the spear into the wall. That night, David made good his escape. Notice he tries to strike him down with his spear again. Okay, that should be the third time. Saul sent men to David's house to watch and to kill him in the morning. But Michal, David's wife, warned him, "If you don't run for your life tonight, tomorrow you'll be killed." So Michal let David down through a window, and he fled and escaped. Then Michal took an idol and laid it on the bed, covering it with a garment and putting some goat's hair at the head. Okay, so I don't like the way I'm reading this, but they're fuming me and they're doing bitch shit. They made it clear to me that it's their job to kind of throw off my reading. It's stupid, but obviously you're better off listening to me than some Satanist pretending to do God's work, reading it like a gay poet or something. Anyway, and that's basically everyone else who reads the Bible these days, and everyone else that ever will. Unless, of course, some female joins me before I die, that means ASAP, and she reads it or something, and that's about it. Okay, so again, then going back to this part, then Michal took an idol and laid it on the bed, covering it with a garment and putting some goat's hair at the head. When Saul sent the men to capture David, Michal said, "He is ill." Then Saul sent the men back to see David and told them, "Bring him up to me in his bed so that I may kill him." But when the men entered, there was an idol in the bed, and at the head was some goat's hair. Saul said to Michal, "Why did you deceive me like this and send my enemy away so that he escaped?" Michal told him, "He said to me, 'Let me get away. Why should I kill you?'" When David had fled and made his escape, he went to Samuel at Ramah and told him all that Saul had done to him. Then he and Samuel went to Naioth and stayed there. Word came to Saul, "David is in Naioth at Ramah." So he sent men to capture him. But when they saw a group of prophets prophesying with Samuel standing there as their leader, the Spirit of God came on David's men. Okay, so Neath is a play on words for in a hot, in alpha hot. Okay, remember cheat, right? See heat, right? So what are the odds, right? Ramah. Okay, Ham Ra. Okay, scrambled. Pretty straightforward, right? Abraham, champion, see Ham, and so on and so forth. And Israel is Ra-El. Okay, and they try to pretend that someone like me is ill so they could play their stupid fairy, pedophile games and so on and so forth. And pedophile aligned games. All right, word came to Saul, David. Okay, all right, so I said, so he sent men to capture him, but when they saw a group of prophets prophesying with Samuel standing there as their leader, the Spirit of God came on Saul's men, and they also prophesied. Saul was told about it, and he sent more men, and they prophesied too. Saul sent men a third time, and they also prophesied. Finally, he himself left for Ramah and went to the great cistern at Seku, and he asked, where are Samuel and David? Over in Naioth at Ramah, they said. Okay, so remember, he sent men 3 times, and the Spirit overcame them. He tried to pin David to the wall, tried to strike him with a spear 3 times, and he missed. And Jesus died, and on the 3rd day rose. Okay, so this is symbolic, right, of the martial art spirit of God overcoming the spirit of the world, like my spirit has overcome the spirit of the world, because I am Christ. And the last one who could, with logic and reason and justice and righteousness, ever truly in the Spirit of God overcome the world. No one else can ever do that in the Spirit of God again. All right, so where was I? Finally, he himself left for Ramah and went to the great cistern of Seku and he asked, where are Samuel and David? Over in Naioth at Ramah, they said. So Saul went to Naioth and Ramah, but the Spirit of God came even on him, and he walked along prophesying until he came to Naioth. He stripped off his garments, and he too prophesied in Samuel's presence. He lay naked all that day and all that night. This is why people say, is Saul also among the prophets?